In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what I got my family for Christmas, including my husband of almost 20 years and our 3 teenage children. I think I did a pretty good job this year of getting a good mix of things that are thoughtful, things that are practical or useful, and things that are fun. If you're looking for a few outside the box ideas, I think I have some of those for you as well. So keep watching. I finally have a day with everybody out of the house. My kids are in school, but my husband works from home part of the time, so it can be tricky having the house all to myself. I keep a note in my notes app on my phone so that as ideas for Christmas and birthdays come to me, I can just jot them down and revisit them later. So even if it's like the middle of summer and something comes to me and I think, ooh, that would be a good idea for Christmas, I don't have to address it right away, but it's there for me to look out when the time comes. But because all my children have fall birthdays, I pretty much start my shopping and start collecting items as early as August because I don't like to be overwhelmed with too much shopping when the Christmas season actually hits. I actually like to be mostly done with it. I know this looks like a lot, but it's not as much as it looks like because this bin down here that all this is sitting on top of is just storage. It's storing other things. It's not Christmas stuff. So I'm going to get all this out and I'll show you what I have. My husband and I have 3 children, a 12-year-old boy, a 13-year-old girl, and a 16-year-old girl. And I really feel like buying meaningful, good quality gifts when they're teenagers is a little bit more challenging than when they were little. For my 16-year-old daughter, it's gotten a little bit easier because she's old enough and responsible enough now to like really good like hair and makeup items. She's done growing for the most part, and we can invest in better quality, clothing and shoes. But for my 12 and 13-year-olds, I feel like it's a huge challenge, especially if you're like us and you don't do a lot of electronics or video games. If I have links for anything, I'll try to track them down and leave them tagged here in the video or down in the description box. Some things I may not have links for because I thrifted them, and where Amazon is concerned, I know some of y'all know how to look stuff up on Amazon, so I might not track all those down, but I'll do the best I can. When it comes to books, I try to purchase used books in good condition, and one of the websites that I usually purchase from is called Better World Books. This version of Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand has been edited for young adults. This is the story of Louis Zamperini. It was actually a movie a little over 10 years ago. We recently watched it. He was a World War II POW and endured quite a lot. His story is really inspiring. Rick was really interested while we were watching that movie, so I thought he might enjoy this, maybe especially reading it over the summer. It's got some additional things. It has some pictures. I love that it gives a little epilogue at the end about what happens with some of the people. And I was looking around for a series for preteen boys that they would like to read. I think finding books that boys will read is always a challenge. Both my mother and my mother-in-law taught elementary school, and they said that was always a challenge. But a lot of people recommended the Kingdom series by Chuck Black. And unfortunately, I ended up with the second book in the series, but that's why this is a good thing because I still have time to track down the first book so I can put that with the second book. But it looks like it's very readable, not super long. So if your boys have read this or you've read it, let me know. And then for my 13-year-old daughter, I got the first 3 books in the Michael Scott, The Immortal Nicholas Flamel series. I am kind of particular about what my kids read, and I do try to look at reviews online and make sure that it's something that I think is appropriate for them. They read a lot of classic literature for school, so I want them to have something that they enjoy reading over the break. Not that they don't enjoy classic literature, but you know what I mean. My oldest daughter is actually the most avid reader of everybody. She does have a Kindle Paperwhite, and she can check out books through Libby and through Kindle Unlimited. But one thing she has requested is for me to purchase books for her own personal library, especially classics. And she specifically requested Jane Austen, so I went ahead and splurged on this box set. I got this at Sam's. I heard they were available at Costco, but the reason I purchased them is because the pages on the top and then also on the back are like a watercolor image. And so I thought they would be really pretty for her to display on her shelf because that's what she's looking for right now, is to invest in classics that she can read and also put on her shelf. And speaking of watercolors, my oldest also really likes to paint, and she does really pretty watercolors in my opinion, and she loves to make cards for her friends or for family. And I was so excited to find this in the thrift store for $8. It is a lap desk. I actually had lap desks on my list. I was possibly going to ask my dad to make them, so finding this for $8 in the thrift store was fantastic. And to go with that, I have some new watercolors and also some watercolor paper that I found on clearance at Walmart a while back. So I'm going to put that all together, and I think she will really enjoy that. McKenna asked for a Stanley last year, and it lasted a whole year before she lost it. So she has asked for another one, and I was able to pick up this purple one for just 20 bucks. And I know it's probably kind of an unexciting gift, but maybe to make it a little more fun, I might put like some little like drink flavorings or some straw toppers or something like that with it. I also still need to pick up a few things to go with this gift for my son. I found this little Coke cup at the thrift store. My son loves to create beverages. You know, he'll mix lemonade and Sprite with maraschino cherries. He likes to experiment with all of the dirty sodas that are really popular right now, you know, Coke or root beer with cream. So I'm going to pick up some sodas, maybe some maraschino cherries, or some flavored syrups. And I think I'm going to print out a few like beverage recipes, like some of the recipes for the dirty Cokes that are really popular, and put that with this so that he can have like a cute little make your own drink gift, because that's something that he really enjoys doing. And he loves to come and bring them to us to try too, which I think is super fun. We're doing a few deferred gifts this year, you know, gifts that will actually be purchased later on. We're just going to tell them about them now. In March next year, my husband and I will celebrate our 20th anniversary. And we talked about what we wanted to do, if we wanted to take a trip. If we took a trip, do we want to go just ourselves or take the kids? And we've decided to take the kids with us on a cruise for our 20th anniversary, something that we've never done. So I ordered a few of these like waterproof plastic bags, and also a few mesh bags and this kind of fun dry bag that I think would be great for taking to the pool. And I'm going to wrap these up with a certificate that tells them we're going to go shop for new swimsuits. They can have like a really fun new swimsuit that they picked out themselves. And for my two girls who are 13 and 16, I got them each a new pair of waterproof Croc sandals. And I'm going to wrap these up with a certificate that tells them we're going to go get pedicures before we go on our cruise in a few months. I didn't think my 12-year-old son would be too enamored with a pedicure, so to go along with his new pair of waterproof sandals, which will also come in handy for swim because he's a swimmer, I'm just going to put this little like travel size game that he can take with him on the plane or on the cruise to play with. And speaking of games, I'm going to show you the gift that I am most excited about for everybody. I got this for my 3 children and for my husband. I don't know if any of you have heard of the game Settlers of Catan, but that is a game that we love playing. It's been around for like 30 years, maybe longer. I don't know. I discovered it when I met my husband 20 years ago. And it's one that we all enjoy playing. And if your family is really into a specific game, especially a classic game like that, you might check Etsy, because there are all kinds of like custom game boards or game pieces, different amenities that you can have custom made to add to the game to make it special. So I found an Etsy seller that makes these custom wooden trays where you can keep your Settlers of Catan game pieces and cards as you play. And I could also have them personalized. And I also found an Etsy seller that will make the game pieces in different colors than the ones that come with the game. So I picked up a few new sets of those too, so that we could have like special colors of pieces. I also made sure that I picked up the expansion set so that all 6 of us could play at once. Typically we're just kind of rotating because it's a 4-player game. And I have some nice boxes that I saved from my new dishes I purchased for my kitchen. And I think I can put together a cute little box of items that everybody can open at the same time. And we will enjoy playing this over Christmas break. And I know that might seem like a totally superfluous gift, but I think everybody will get a good laugh out of those. And I do think that they will get used. I think they'll be useful. I wanted to mention this idea if you have a reader in your family, especially an older family member who likes to read. Last year for Christmas, we gave my mother-in-law, my husband's mom, books. She loves to read. And we each picked out a book that we had read in the previous year, and we wrote her a little note about what we liked about that book and why we chose it. And throughout the year, she read the books, and my mother-in-law is wonderful. She went the extra mile, and every time she finished reading a book, she would like write a little note, especially to the children, and give her thoughts on it and things that she liked about it. And we gave her a bundle of lots of different kinds of books. There were fiction books, there were nonfiction books, and our kids are still reading, middle grade chapter books, and that's okay. If they're kids' books, that's fine. My mother-in-law still really enjoyed looking at what the kids were reading and hearing their thoughts on it. I just thought that was a really thoughtful gift, and actually my 16-year-old daughter came up with that idea. So now I'm passing it on to you. Inside this box is a Yeti bowl for my husband. He really likes to grill. And I saw these, and the reviews were from a lot of people who also enjoy grilling and say that they're really great for keeping things warm as they come off the grill. We have loved everything we've had from Yeti and have been very pleased with the quality. I mean, y'all have seen me carry around those Yeti coffee cups for years. They do have one that is bigger than this one, and they also have one that is smaller than this one. I kind of went for the medium size to try it out because they're a little pricey. They're an investment, but again, we've loved everything from this brand, so I have high hopes for it. My husband and I also really enjoy coffee, especially my husband. And we have a little pour over clever dripper. We have a couple of just regular coffee pots. I have a little mocha pot for making like one little espresso shot on the stove. But I thought it might be fun to try out a fridge press. So I did a little research. I was looking for one that was just kind of middle of the road price that had really good reviews. So this is the one that I picked up, and I'll probably pick up like a bag of coffee beans or something before I wrap this up to put with that for my husband. One of the gifts my husband has really enjoyed getting from the kids in recent years are scripture memory cards. We pick out some scriptures or maybe some common prayers that we write down. The kids write it in their own handwriting and maybe decorate a little bit on an index card. I have a little laminating machine where I can put the index cards into little laminated pouches and laminate them for him. And then he has some memory verses that he can work on throughout the year, and he just keeps them in his Bible. And it's really kind of a thoughtful, fun gift because the kids really think about the verses that they want to give to their dad. And it's meaningful for him because he's looking at that in his own children's handwriting. And it doesn't cost very much money. I mean, you don't have to laminate the cards. I just happen to already have like a little laminator that I bought years and years ago. So it's not very expensive for me to go out and buy those little pouches. I just think that that is something easy that the kids can do. My husband also really enjoys playing games. And over Christmas break, when we have a lot more downtime, I feel like sometimes he gets a little restless. He's not a person who loves like movies. He's not a person who loves video games. That's never been his thing. So he really likes to play games. But sometimes it can be hard to convince everybody else in the household to play. So I thought one thing we could do for him is like the 12 games of Christmas, and we can pick out some of the games that we know he enjoys that we have, and basically present him with this list of games that we will all play with him each day of Christmas break. So it's the gift of time, right? It's the gift of quality time, which I think is especially good for somebody who is hard to buy for, or maybe already has most everything he wants. Years ago, my husband and I made a deal with Santa, the same deal that our parents had. We told him that we would take care of our kids' gifts, including their stockings, and that, he's welcome to stop by and like have a snack, have some milk and cookies, but he doesn't need to worry about our kids because there's so many that he has to visit all over the country, all over the world. So a lot of these things here are for Christmas stockings so that we can take that off of Santa's plate. And I'll probably just be doing a separate video on that. So if you're looking for ideas, maybe you have the same deal with Santa Claus, look for that video to come out probably next week. The good thing about doing this now is that I also see where some of the gaps might be. I mean, my kids are getting older, so they're not as particular about we have to have the same number of packages or have to have the same amount of money. But sometimes there is something that I have forgotten about that I meant to purchase, or maybe there is something that hasn't been delivered yet and I need to follow up with it. Or sometimes I just need to go track it down from one of my hiding places. Please tell me I'm not the only person who has ordered something or purchased something, tucked it away in a safe place, and then like found it months and months and months after Christmas. Am I the only person that that's ever happened to? So that's pretty much what my family's getting for Christmas. There might be a couple of other things that sneak in under the tree before Christmas comes, but I think that's pretty good. I don't really have any super high ticket items this year. I think it's mostly just things that are useful, things that are fun that we can enjoy together. We've got some things they can look forward to purchasing in a few months before we take our trip together as a family. And I hope that there were some creative ideas for you too, including some things that you might find secondhand or some things at thrift stores. I have purchased things off of Facebook Marketplace before for Christmas. I am not afraid to buy something gently used and give it as a gift. That's just me. If you've got teenagers especially, or somebody hard to buy for, and you've got ideas that maybe you can share with us, feel free to leave me a comment. YouTube thinks you might want to watch one of these videos next. I'm putting out a little bit of extra content this month, so make sure that you are keeping an eye out for that if you're interested. And I'll see you in the next one.